All right, thank you again for stopping at Nine World Chronicle. I haven't been on cam a lot because I've been doing a different style video, but I wanted to address a particular line of questioning around a certain type of video. And I understand very well the type of person who continues to want to leave comments about this belief. Now, I've got four specific images that I want to viewpoint. The first is this image of the Medusa at the Kandaki warrior. And the reason I introduce that is because that has been the subject matter of the post that's been in question. The first thing that we need to understand about this is that when it comes to mythology, this is not a science. This is not math. It's not even history. It is a telling of what humans believed about the world that they lived in, how they explain things, how they told stories. This character emerged from a culture that was being repressed, right, by invaders. We understand that. We understand the period of colonization that started in the 1800s and effectively ended in 1914, but still African cultures were fighting for their independence in the 1960s. So roughly 100 years, 140 years of time that colonization really was impactful. And in that time, what colonists did is as you invaded a culture, you obviously destroyed their infrastructure, but you also replaced what their cultural norms were through storytelling, by replacing their religion, by replacing their beliefs, by denying them access to education. So this is very old school in terms of how we saw colonists. We saw it here in the Americas, where they sought to re-educate the children of the Native Americans. So this stuff is old hand. The important thing to understand is that this happened, that there was and still is an attempt to rewash history. We see it now when we talk about critical race theory and people want to change the terms from slaves to immigrant workers, right? Which is not, because you're changing what history was. And this happens on massive levels. Mythology evolves. Mythology is evolving today. Mythology is not simply what was written 4,000 years ago by ancient people, right? Mythology exists today, and we're introducing new mythologies every day. The case in point that I'm going to make is the reference to Superman. This character was introduced in 1938 and has forever changed what our cultural expression of a hero is. He will always have a mark on how we view the hero character. He has been retold and reshaped in a multitude of ways, not only from this Superman to the Superman from Injustice to even characters like Homelander, who has been a dark side of what this character is through that evaluation. So it's important to understand that we are mythology. What we believe about the world is mythology. We used to look at an atmospheric event and attribute that to a storm god. We don't do that anymore because our knowledge set has changed. The book of Enoch references spaceships and how they would talk about chariots of fire because, again, their understanding was different. So the mythology or the cultural expression was different during that period of time. The next image that we're looking at here is obviously from the Matrix. Now, again, my side of the argument has always been to represent those rebel cultures. Bob Marley talked about rebel music all the time. And this is what we're talking about. Despite what you do to wipe out a culture, to change their belief system, to change what they think about themselves, there always remains that contingent that holds on to who they were. That is what is represented in the Matrix. So from that standpoint, we understand that there is the main culture, right, who is born from the colonist Western culture, and you're fine to believe that. Whatever you choose to believe, I'm not talking to you. I am talking to the counter to that, who was that rebel culture, the people who believed in what their ancestors wrote down and didn't want to accept new stories about who they were or that new narrative. They say something very insightful in the Matrix, that if they are not with you, they are against you. Now, when we look at colonizer culture, it is not strictly embedded in the genetics they pass along. There are people of all colors who accept that narrative as what the world really is, and that's fine. Again, I'm not talking to you, but I am talking to that rebel culture. The last image you'll see is the one behind me, the largest, which is Killmonger, and this is really to express my attitude when I'm talking to these people. My attitude is not that we're here to be friendly to one another. I'm not here to debate you. I'm not concerned about what your beliefs are, and I don't need any of your validation about mine. So I understand that in part you want to be an aggressive force. You want to distract me from the time that I should be using to do my work, connecting with my own community, connecting with my own base. But again, you need to understand that I'm not T'Challa. I'm not going to sit and debate you. I don't feel a need to be civil right? I'm Killmonger. And Killmonger said directly that this was a fight over the survival of my people, my culture, versus what you want to implant upon them. The last message I'm going to leave with you is that during this, a lot of ideologies have sprung from rebel culture. When we're talking Freddie Hampton, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X. The one thing that I want to leave with you is we talked about the destruction of these cultures, and the reply to me was that destruction means they're completely gone. The thing that you do not realize is that, like someone very wise says, you attempted to bury us, but you did not realize that we were seeds. The seeds are growing. The seeds still carry their rebel nature. The seeds still carry inside of us our ancestors. I don't need your acceptance, nor would I even want it. You're the people who I question what your morality is. I look at the things in history that you've done to other people, and I question whether you're truly human. So there is no level for us to maintain a friendly conversation. I'm not here to debate anything that you have to say. I'm here again to serve the rebel culture. Like it or not, this is what it is. Say as you choose. I know where my head is. Thank you again for everybody who supports the channel. I'm definitely doing this for you, and we'll stay with the struggle.